There are two massively popular games in this console generation: the competitive PvP juggernauts in Fortnite, Call of Duty, and Apex Legends. The other most popular console game genre is the third-person story-driven action-adventure game. Sony's PlayStation 4 has been continually delivering this genre to the forefront with high-rated, gorgeously rendered games each year, all open-world, third-person, high-production value masterpieces, with more to come. And Xbox has this. But Microsoft has been harvesting talent from Sony's best studios, and they may bring that formula to the Xbox sooner than you think. This is Colt Eastwood. Today I'm going to show you a suite of games that have been created by the talent joining the Xbox studios to give you a visual representation of what to expect as the Xbox platform matures to more blockbuster games next generation. If you like this content and this channel, consider subscribing and joining the channel to support the work and keep the videos coming weekly. This will be a tough topic for Xbox fans, so let's get started. Some of the most impressive, visually stunning exclusives this console generation have come to the PS4 with Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Spider-Man, and even Days Gone. And PlayStation is not done. Still to come are the impressive Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us Part 2. These games all have one thing in common. They are third-person, over-the-shoulder, action-adventure games with a heavy emphasis on a mature character-driven story. Sony's PlayStation 4 platform has consistently delivered this gameplay experience at least once per year for most of the generation. The Xbox One, although it has some hits with its flagship titles, the absolute top of the pick for Xbox comes in the form of two Forza Horizon games. The last time that the Xbox had a mature story-driven third-person blockbuster was 2016 with Gears of War 4. Sure, the Xbox had Quantum Break and Rise, but critically, both games didn't rate high enough to stand above the crowd. Looking at the Xbox One generation as a whole, it's apparent that the deficit of compelling action-adventure mature story-driven games has mostly been absent on the platform. All hope is not lost as Microsoft's newly formed 15-team conglomerate in Xbox Game Studios is working on 20 games for the end of the Xbox One generation and the start of the Xbox Scarlett next generation beyond in 2020. There are some smaller teams working on smaller games like Battletoads, Psychonauts, and Bleeding Edge, but a few of the Xbox Game Studio teams are working on big, blockbuster, mature, story-driven games. Remember waiting 3 years since 2016 for a new AAA game? The wait is almost over with the Coalition's Gears 5. Gears 5 promises to be the biggest Gears game with a bigger, more diverse world and a haunting story of betrayal and discovery, taking Kate and Del into the heart of the Swarm's origin, with icy landscapes and Tomb Raider and Uncharted-like ruins with new enemies to fight along the way. Gears 5's visuals are top-notch, rivaling many of the generation's most impressive environments, lighting, and effects to bring the world of Sarah to life on the Xbox One X. This is the Gears 5 tech test, showing the game running anywhere from native 4K at 60 FPS down to half of 4K to keep performance at the highest priority. We already know from the tech test, which may not be running at full visual suite, that Gears 5 will look amazing. And the Coalition has an opportunity here to make the story truly something memorable. We know very little about the story other than Kate being pulled to evil from her desire to learn of her mother's fate and her allegiance to the COG. There are a couple of wild cards in play as JD, Marcus Phoenix's son, resents Kate's decision to break from the COG, and if the Coalition uses this as a betrayal arc or an emotionally destructive story, Gears 5 could really be something special. We already know about the Coalition and 343, the team behind Halo, coming next year, but the real ace in the sleeve for Xbox Game Studios is The Initiative. The Initiative is an ensemble of creators united under one roof in Santa Monica, California. The Initiative has been charged with creating the newest, biggest, and most imaginative game for the Xbox ecosystem, something sorely missing on Xbox for many years. This is a super team of talented, experienced developers from the industry's best studios. We're going to run down that list and show what games they have made and what caliber of blockbuster AAA production we can expect from The Initiative. Led by Daryl Gallagher, head of development for Call of Duty's franchise, Destiny 2, and for Activision, Square Enix's team that brought the recent Tomb Raider series, Deus Ex, Hitman, and Just Cause, bringing an over-the-top, tech-driven action-adventure world to offset the grit of Tomb Raider and Call of Duty. Daryl also worked with Rockstar's heyday of the original set of Grand Theft Auto games for the PlayStation and Xbox. Daryl also brought with him several people from Tomb Raider to join the team. The initiative hired a recruiter and lore that brought talent to Respawn's Titanfall 2 team together and Riot Games' League of Legends to bring the fastest tech and artists to bring online features alive and responsive. Then there's Drew Murray, the lead behind Insomniacs' Sunset Overdrive on Xbox One, showcasing open world imagination, tight responsive combat, and varied gameplay. But for the mature story-driven narrative,
that saved you from getting killed back there, and who you owe your life to, remember?
The initiative has Christian Canamesa of Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption team. If you've played through John Marston's trek across the wilds of the West, you know that Christian's offerings will be a heartfelt story narrative. Brian Westergaard, formerly of Sony's Santa Monica Studios, moves across the block to the initiative. Brian has worked on the Tomb Raider series, but most recently bringing his production direction that made God of War on PS4 come alive. Also Chris O'Neill, the lead designer for God of War. God of War has some of the generation's greatest production values and some of the most breathtaking levels. Ian Miller, Kai Zhang, and Ray Yeoman, senior designers for God of War for Sony's Santa Monica, are all joining the initiative. The undeniable talent of Naughty Dog, the most respected studio in gaming, bringing masterpieces like the Uncharted series and The Last of Us in the AAA blockbuster department, has been recruited by the Initiative Studio. Isaac Uram Kim, a concept artist, and Robert Ryan, senior systems designer, will be bringing their experience and perspective of working on Uncharted 4 and the upcoming The Last of Us 2 for the PS4. Sazi Jones, character creator of Tomb Raider and Uncharted, will bring those human characters to life. The other masterclass of console games this entire generation is Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption 2, with meticulous attention to detail and production values only seen in the great timeless cinema. The technical director for Rockstar's GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 joins the initiative to bring the world of their first game to life, bringing cohesion, immersion, and detail to a living world to build the adventure. It's highly probable that the next game from the Initiative Studio will host a multiplayer section of the game to continue the combat and engagement beyond the single-player campaign. And that's where Cesar Castro, senior software engineer with his experience with FIFA and EA Sports, will be beneficial to the initiative. If it's starting to look like the initiative is made up of mostly former Sony studio employees, it helps to have Victoria Miller, producer for PlayStation. Victoria worked with PlayStation during much of the PS3 and PS4 era, shipping major releases for Sony's PlayStation. In addition to the talent listed here, there are just as many more from different disciplines, backgrounds, and smaller studios that have helped round out the Initiative Studio. Xbox Game Studios is made up of another 14 teams working on multiple games. In fact, starting now, there are a total of 20 games being developed, coming in the next couple of years to the Xbox ecosystem. It has been rough waters for the Xbox platform since Gears 4 launched alongside Forza Horizon 3 in 2016, but Xbox continues to generate revenue to invest back into the first-party studios, with plenty to spare to build up the next most powerful console, the best streaming game service in xCloud, and an amazing centerpiece with Xbox Game Pass bringing millions to the Xbox ecosystem to make sure that in the near future and beyond, more amazing AAA blockbuster narrative story-driven games are created for the Xbox. And no time is better to propel the Xbox games into critical acclaim along with stellar Nintendo and PlayStation games. This is Colt Eastwood. Thank you so much for watching. Many of you might have seen an overlap with this video, but if you want to see a more in-depth look of the Initiative Studio, there will be a link at the end of the video for that, as well as another deep dive into Xbox Game Studios. If you enjoyed this video, please support the work by joining and subscribing to the channel. If you hit the join button, you'll get early access to weekly videos before they go public and custom emojis and badges for your comments. I'd love to hear what you think of the Initiative Studio in that comment section. The comment section has been very supportive, and I'll be there after the video to talk to as many of you as I can. And if you don't hear back from me, please add me on Xbox and Twitter at colteastwood and reach out and message me. If you're not a fan of Xbox, I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe learned something about how much of it will change. But we should let people enjoy things, especially when it comes to gaming. In other words, be nice.